of Division I basketball. Tara Vanderveer, 1,141 career wins and coming off her third national championship. Brink jumping it up with Owens, and UCLA wins the opening tip.
Stanford starting out in a man-to-man, but you know with Tara Vanderveer, they will play off the players who cannot step out and shoot from the perimeter. Right now you see Cameron Brink just clogging up the lane like a one-player zone.
Here is Cho, bouncing to Owens, shot clock inside at 10. Owens always reluctant to shoot. Osborne with the shot clock waiting, gives it up, and the three won't go for Horvat. Flagged down by Wilson. See the Stanford starting five. The Hull twins along with Anna Wilson. Fran Beliebe slides into the starting lineup with no Haley Jones. And Cameron Brink starting at the center. Here is Wilson firing up a three. No, Brink able to follow it up, couldn't handle it. Hull couldn't finish it either. Beliebe, no. A lot of good looks for Stanford, but no fruit at the end of that labor.
Both coaches talked to us how important it was. The #1 key was to get to the glass. Stanford didn't come away with any points, but doing a great job getting second opportunities.
And you know, Rebecca, as Owens misses the jumper, the coaches always say rebounding, right? Like the coach will, but it was interesting that it was the first thing from each coach in this particular matchup.
Yeah, and Stanford is a really good offensive rebounding team, and especially with the roster the way it is for UCLA, they've got to limit Stanford to one look at a time.
Oh, Cho able to bank it in, plus the foul. A chance for three for Natalie Cho.
Because of the way Stanford's playing defensively, because of the way they're clogging the lane, UCLA is going to need to be able to hit shots from the perimeter. Nice job by Cho there as she's coming off the screen. Yeah, without question, that's a foul. I don't know if she intended to bank it in, but it counts.
Cho.
Right. It's such a drastic
three-point play. Yeah.
Such a drastic difference when you look at the lane on both ends of the floor. On one end, it is completely clogged up. Here for Stanford, because they have shooters, the defense has to be out on the perimeter, and it allows for driving lanes. Clogged lane here.
Lexi Hull able to bank that in for the first bucket of the game for Stanford. Hull has struggled shooting from three over her last 3 games, just 1 for 11. Here's Owens trying to work around Brink, could not. The foul is good for Chantel Horvat. Brink, the face-up is good, and Rebecca, there's some of that aggression we've been seeing from Cameron Brink of late.
Yeah, she's been looking for her shot, and she's been demanding the basketball, and Thomas is 6'1", Brink is 6'4", so that's all it's going to take, is turning and facing and finishing.
There's a little face-up jumper for Kayla Owens, being a little more aggressive with her jumper in the early going.
Good for her. She needs to be, because they are going to play off of her. She has to be willing to take it, and if she makes it, it's a bonus.
7-4 start for UCLA. They've lost each of the last 2 by double digits. They haven't lost 3 straight by at least 10 points since January of 2014 as Stanford coughs it up. Osborne will take her time, setting up the offense. See Brink lurking in the paint.
Lurking is the perfect word. Look at her, just playing off, clogging the paint.
Osborne using the ball fake, sending Owens away. Shot clock inside of 5. Owens swims through, couldn't pop it in. Beliebe controls it for Stanford. Here's Brink putting it on the floor, finding Wilson, a little off on the 3. Beliebe to put back, no, wow. Stanford has had some bunnies on offensive rebounds and just has not been able to cash in.
Cameron Brink catches the ball, little reverse pivot, and when you've got that size advantage over your defender, she has got great touch from there. That's going to be a tough matchup for Thomas all day.
You see she had a really rough 3-game stretch, and in the 6 games since has been fantastic. 16 points per on 61% shooting. Far more aggression, and it was interesting talking to Tara Vanderveer about this as Brink's going to get called for the loose ball foul. She said, you know, Janae and Nneka Ogwumike's dad had a saying, every disappointment is a blessing. She said she went through a few game stretch, namely those games we just showed you, that were a disappointment, but it served to motivate her. And we have seen the results of a motivated Cameron Brink.
Yeah, she has not only been aggressive offensively, looking for her shot, she has been demanding the basketball.
Believe able to finish through traffic. Finally getting one to drop.
Guys, going back to what you were saying about Cameron Brink, one of my favorite things that I talked to with Tara today was she said Cameron Brink still hasn't even tapped into her potential. Even with 25 points and 15 rebounds in the big games that she's responded with, she thinks she has so much more left in the tank to bring.
Yeah, Andrea, she is a 6'4" post player who can really run the floor. Talk about running the floor. There's Fran Believy getting an easy 2 for Stanford. But Cameron Brink is long. She runs. She's got great hands, great feet. We saw her make her first 3 of the season in their last game. She has range out to there. She catches at the elbow, could put it on the deck, finds open teammates. You don't tend to see that kind of skill set in a 6'4" player.
WNBA GM's just salivating watching the game of Cameron Brink. They're gonna have to wait a little bit though.
One of the many great sophomores that we're getting a chance to watch this season.
Lacey Hall kicks it around. How about Brink? Off on a 3, but a good-looking stroke from deep there for Brink. A 9-8 start for UCLA. Cho spins into the paint, was able to swivel between 2 defenders, but just could not quite finish it. Stanford pushing pace. Lacey to Lexi, and a blocking foul is called against UCLA.
You know, you were asking her today, Ryan, you know, what are the things that worry her in terms of, you know, the NCAA tournament or winning a championship? Nothing worries me. She's like, if I got one player who's not playing well, I just put somebody else in.
Nice looking stroke there from Lexi Hall. We talked about her 3-point struggles of late. Able to hit that attempt. Well, the other interesting thing she said, Rebecca, that I thought really stand out was just how much she loves and embraces getting to coach Lexi and Lacey Hall and Anna Wilson. You know, her older players who she doesn't have that much time left with. It's saying she just treasures the experience. Oh, Lexi has come out firing. Hall 2 for 2 from 3. She has 8 points. Stanford has retaken the lead. Cameron Brown into the game for UCLA, along with Dominique Onu. Onu has really had to play a much larger role than anticipated for UCLA because of all their injuries. Off one leg, Owens couldn't hit it. Got it back, unable to put it in. UCLA another chance here, really crashing the offensive glass early, and that's going to be a charge as UCLA turns it over. Hey, we have 6 great rivalry men's basketball games for you Saturday on ESPN and the app, starting at noon Eastern, but we're going to feature these 3. Number 8 Baylor squaring off against number 10 Kansas at 4 Eastern, 3 Central. Then arguably the best rivalry of them all, 9th-ranked Duke in North Carolina at the Dean Smith Center. And at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, number 5 Kentucky taking on Alabama. What a full day of hoops.
Ryan, Corey Close was talking to us about the passion plays and about getting to the offensive glass and competing. And Stanford, almost every position is bigger and longer than UCLA, but UCLA continues to be relentless on the offensive glass. They're boxing out here on this possession, but just working so hard. Oof.
5 offensive rebounds already for UCLA, to your point, Rebecca. And Geitenbeek hits the 3. Jana Van Geitenbeek dusted off and delivering coming off a game in which she was 6 of 8 from 3, has had to step in and has stepped up.
Dust it off.
Was hardly getting minutes at all, and right away contributes as that 3 goes down for Onu. Speaking of stepping into larger roles. Van Geitenbeek has had to deliver from 3. Hannah Jump out for a 3rd straight game for Stanford. Van Geitenbeek gets 3. Can't hit that one. So confident.
Van Geitenbeek just gets her feet set so quickly, and here Stanford moving the ball around the perimeter. It's in and out of her hands so fast. And then on the other end, this is how UCLA has stayed in games. Even though they lost by double digits to both Oregon State and Arizona, they were in the game late in the 4th quarter. And one of the reasons they were able to do that is by hitting shots from the perimeter.
Osborne tried to force it. Wilson was able to steal it. Here's Belibi facing up, burrowing in, and finishing off the window.
See how much room she had to operate, though? She's surrounded by shooters, so the entire lane was clear except for Belibi and her defender. Post player's dream right there.
Rebecca, what have you been seeing from Belibi over the last few games?
She's been so aggressive and comfortable. It feels to me like she has settled into her role. She didn't play in Stanford's game at Tennessee and then really came alive in their following matchup against South Carolina. Here we see her, another player who's got confidence.
2-on-1, Belibi couldn't quite finish it. Osborne comes away with it. UCLA on a break. Osborne, the runner, short. Shot clock was turned off, but UCLA went for it because of the fast break, just like Stanford might here. Poked out of bounds, and now Stanford likely will try and run it down for a final shot. Van Geitenbeek has scored 9 points total her first 17 games, and then the last 2, 27 points. Here is Ho on another 3, the 3rd 3 of the quarter for Lexi Ho. Osborne from the logo leaves it short. A 22-14 lead for Stanford. Strong finish to the quarter for the Cardinal.
I'm still trying to figure out some of the post-shot celebration. I think I like Dawn's the best. Just turn and walk away. Like you expected it to go in all along.
And Geitenbeek unable to hit on that attempt. She's gotten some good looks, though. You saw UCLA 4 turnovers in that first. Stanford just 1 turnover in the first quarter. So key for Stanford, Rebecca, because that's an area where they've struggled at times this season, protecting the basketball.
Yeah, without question. It's the reason they lost the ball game to South Carolina earlier this year. And interesting to note, too, UCLA would typically be pressing Stanford a lot more, picking up with more full-court pressure. They've given Stanford trouble with that in the past, but they just don't have the bodies to do it in this game.
Osborne, nice D from Anna Wilson. Let's check in with Andrea Carter.
Well, head coach Corey Close was fired up in that last huddle about the team's transition defense. She said they're getting threes because we're not playing smart. She went back to their game against Arizona and Oregon State, said we're playing hard with our hearts, but we're not playing with our minds. Really challenged their defensive rotations in transition and their communication on that end of the floor.
That was so interesting, Andrea, hearing Corey Close talk about that concept. Speaking with her yesterday about how even though they've been undermanned, she feels like the spirit has been good, but mentally they haven't necessarily been in the right place, given not having the margin of error they normally might, Rebecca.
And one of the things she talked about is, you know, if Amari Thomas is playing well, we can't have her score 7 points in a row and then stop giving her the basketball. And that's been an interesting piece here. She has not had a ton of touches so far in this game.
Cho gets fouled. And Rebecca, this is what you're talking about.
We've seen him face quite a bit of adversity. They've had a lot of games canceled. They went just about a month without playing. And then 3 games at home without any fans allowed because of the Los Angeles city ordinances, or the campus ordinances. So it's not been an easy go for UCLA. And then you factor in all the injuries they've had as well in dealing with COVID. It's just been a really tough season.
Corey Close was on the record very upset with having to forfeit their game against Oregon because of not having enough players. Talked about her frustration that if all their absences were COVID related, then the game would have just been rescheduled. But because they had other injuries, it wasn't. And they're still going to make up their game against Oregon, but it will not count in the Pac-12 standings. It will count just towards an NCAA tournament bid. But Corey Close, who loves this conference, was really, really, really disappointed with their decision there.
Yeah, and she said both teams want to play, and they just had to figure out a time where they could do it.
Two minutes into the second quarter, number 2 Stanford leading UCLA 22-14. Ryan Rucco, the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo, and Andrea Carter with you. Osborne buries a 3, and Charisma Osborne, she can eat up in a hurry.
Yeah, she just needed a little bit of space, and she got it because of the Amari Thomas handoff.
Brink, strong take, able to finish around Izzy Anstey.
Brink is so good when she catches in the pinch post area. She can put it on the deck right or left. We saw her go to her strong right hand there, but she is equally capable both directions.
Horvath gets it over to Thomas. Anstey doubled, kicks it out. Under 5 to shoot. Osborne just misfires on a deep attempt. Lacey Hole knocks down a 3. Stanford 5 of 11 now from 3-point range, and another member of UCLA is down. Izzy Anstey is down and in pain, and Rebecca, UCLA just cannot catch a break in the injury department.
Just battling. She's working hard, trying to get a body on Cameron Brink. Yeah, it looked like she was holding her wrist, Ryan. Not like when she absorbed the weight of the fall.
I mean, you look at the impact of injuries. Jalen Penn has missed the last 5 games. Rand Maskowicz is out tonight, played in the previous 2. Cameron Brown just had her first game of the season. I mean, Gina Conti was supposed to lead this team as the point guard, has not played all season. It has really been a rough go for a UCLA team that certainly, if they were all healthy, could stack up quite a bit of talent. We're going to step aside. All right, Monica, Nikki, thank you very much. Yeah, look at those Hull sisters. Pretty good. 4-4 from downtown combined.
Yeah, what's been so impressive to me is Stanford's balance. They did a great job early in this game in particular, getting touches inside. We talked about the space that the bigs have to maneuver. And then when the defense stepped in a little bit, as you see a 3 there for UCLA, Stanford's been able to take advantage of that as well.
Big 3 from Horvath. Brink will take. Can't hit. Rebound on the weak side. Amari Thomas. UCLA down 7. First half action. Thomas gets a touch, kicks it out. Horvat, not that time, and the rebound taken in by Lexi. Inside of 10. Oh, what a beautiful feed. Brink to Lacey Hall for the bucket.
And Brink was looking for that the entire possession. She knows when she catches it there that one of the options for her guards is to cut back door to the basket, and again with her height has great vision to find her teammate when she's open. Ryan, the last possession for UCLA, Amari Thomas had a catch in the post. She is yet to attempt a field goal because when she catches it inside, there is defensive help everywhere.
Nice defensive help there from Stanford. Another stop. Lining up the 3. It's good.
The last two possessions.
Dimitri, the freshman, connecting from downtown.
Last two possessions of Stanford basketball. You get a layup in a clean lane, and then the following possession, you get a good look and drain the 3.
Dimitri, the California Gatorade Player of the Year in 2021, number 11 recruit, according to ESPNW. She was another player Tara Vanderveer highlighted to us today, Rebecca, saying, when she gets in there, I'm confident, and she delivers. The depth of this Stanford team, you really feel.
Cameron Brink has some nerve arguing that last call, by the way, but here it's beautiful. The guard cuts, you know if she gets a step on the defender that you can pass her the basketball. Brink, a terrific passer, and then here, Thomas just a step late. That's what Andrea was talking about from Corey Close's huddle. You've got to get back in defensive transition and find the three-point shooters.
Stanford is 6 for 12 from three-point range. 12-point Cardinal lead, their largest of the game. And an offensive foul as UCLA turns it over. Hey, tomorrow night, after the NHL All-Star Skills Competition, our NBA matchup has two of the top teams in the association squaring off. Joel Embiid and the Sixers in Dallas to take on Luka and the Mavs. Our coverage tips at 10 Eastern, 9 Central on ESPN and the app. Prechtel will fire and hit. Who can't shoot for Stanford?
Nobody. Everybody can shoot.
Remember when Prechtel came off the bench in the second half of the Elite Eight against Louisville, went 6 for 6 from the floor, 3 for 3 from 3, and had 16 points in a comeback victory.
This is why Tara Vanderveer, when you ask her what makes her worry, says nothing.
Yeah.
Hey!
On the drive, foul called, and Kayla Owens is going to go to the line.
Ashton Prechtel is a big with size, vision. Good screen by Fran Believy. Owens is just a step late. It can be hard too when you're playing for Stanford because, you know, you might get minutes here and there depending on the matchup, and Prechtel steps in. All right, I'll just step in and hit a 3 and try to get more minutes in this game.
Well, Rebecca, that point you just made is actually what Tara Vanderveer said she feels best about with this team. She said, our unselfishness is what gives me my greatest confidence. And she listed off about 5 or 6 different players who've dealt with different roles and different times. As Lexi hits another 3, she said every player is not only ready to step up, but cheers for their teammates when they're on the bench, and then is able to deliver when they're called upon.
Open in the corner, give her the ball, because more often than not, this is the result.
Stanford on an 11-1 run They are 8 for 14 from three-point range. Last year, Rebecca, Tara Vanderveer used the analogy of an orchestra. And not everyone's going to solo every night, but everyone's ready to when they're called upon to go with that theme of unselfishness. We're seeing that again tonight, digging into the depth, and those pieces continually deliver.
It feels like there's a number of players who are going to have a solo tonight, though.
With no Hannah Jump, no Haley Jones. For Stanford, it has not been a problem, a 17-point lead.
I mean, think about this. This is without Haley Jones.
Yeah. Believy nuzzles in. And Haley Jones and Hannah Jump. Those are your top two scorers on Stanford.
Haley Jones, the best distributor.
Yeah, after Cameron Brink, it's those two. It's incredible, though, the way Stanford's able to plug and play. Cho. Sidewinds out of bounds. Stanford basketball.
About how her team is so unselfish and she has no worries. Look, Lexi Hull's just like, here you go. Here are your glasses back, Fran Believy. Go ahead and pass Lacey the ball. I've got you. I've got your back. That's what Coach Vanderveer is talking about when she has no worries and the unselfishness of this team.
That's right.
Find you a teammate who will pick up your glasses off the floor, right?
That's right. I feel like if either you or I had ocular issues, we would help each other out.
That's not quite alliteration, but you've had some good ones so far in this game. We got dust off, dust and what? Deliver?
Dusted off and delivering?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun with words here on our Thursday showcase. You know, half the country is dealing with inclement weather, Rebecca, or they're about to be, so we need to keep them loose, you know, get them ready for a snowstorm taking them into the weekend.
Yeah, we're planning on a snow day here in Connecticut tomorrow.
Brechtel misses both free throws. Under a minute and a half to go in this first half. Nice idea, but Thomas couldn't execute it. UCLA turns it over. They're without a field goal in the last 5 minutes. Levy, patiently, survey, puts it on the deck and just gets a free lane to the rim, no resistance.
That's what a clean lane will give you, Ryan. And the lane's gonna be clean when you have the Stanford shooters shooting the way they are.
8.7 rebounds now for Believy. Thomas connects on a three, a much needed one for UCLA. Brechtel took it too early, but Stanford gets the offensive rebound, and now Wilson, the sixth-year grad guard, will wisely wait for a final look here. Brechtel, Believy with one to shoot, was able to squeeze it up, couldn't finish it, and that's how the first half will end. Stanford, a 40-24 lead at the half. The Cardinals seeking its 9th straight victory.
Challenged the team and asked them, how much pride do you have? She said she told them it's disrespectful to themselves and to the staff who prepared the scouting report. I actually asked her what action she wanted to see on the offensive end, and she said, I'm only worried about the defense. We're putting too much pressure on our offense because of our defense. She mentioned transition defense, so I know she's disappointed in that play, and she said they're just not following the scouting report.
Yeah, Andrea, I think you nailed the emotion on the face of Corey Close there after allowing that layup. Disappointment indeed.
This is the thing with UCLA is that this is a team that has pride, and it's a team that competes. It's just sometimes a team that doesn't play as smart as Corey Close would like them to.
UCLA has been trying to navigate all season as they've dealt with this myriad of injuries.
And Stanford can turn defense into offense really quickly, and UCLA turns the basketball over. Great job, great hustle. That's one of the passion plays that Corey Close said they needed to win, and we talked about this at the top of the show. When your 6'4" player can run the floor like Cameron Brink, it's a luxury. She had limited minutes in that first half because she picked up 2 fouls, but wow, she can get up and down the floor.
Levy hits both free throws. She has 10 points, 7 rebounds. Stanford shooting 50% from the floor as a team. UCLA just 30%. It's the 94th meeting all time between these schools. Owens the rebound. That's what UCLA did, and we heard Nikki talking about it at the half in studio with Monica. Early in the game, first quarter especially, they really were able to get to the offensive glass. That slowed in the second. Thomas barreled into Belibi. No call. Belibi is going to get tied up, and Stanford has the possession arrow.
Thomas just going in and using her body, leads with her elbow there, and Belibi takes it, but continues to fight. And Ryan, one of the reasons UCLA was able to get to the offensive glass is because Stanford defensively is playing so much off of Owens and playing off of Ansi when she was in there, that is a little bit harder when the shot goes up to then find that player to put a body on her. There you see UCLA picking up in some full court pressure with the score the way it is. It might not matter that UCLA has the limited bench. They have to figure out a way to manufacture some offense.
Belibi finishes inside. 12 points for Fran Belibi starting tonight with Haley Jones out. Hannah Jump out as well for Stanford. Largest lead of the game for the Cardinal. The #2 team in the nation, the South Carolina ranked higher, as Horvath gets it to go, plus the foul. A chance for 3. Hey, what a lineup we have for you this weekend. Saturday, the NHL All-Star Game is at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on ABC and ESPN+. We'll have a couple of college hoop rivalry Sonic blockbusters on ESPN with Baylor, Kansas, and Duke, North Carolina. And then Sunday, the Pro Bowl is on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and Disney XD. What a weekend lineup.
Got a couple women's basketball games on ESPN2 on Sunday as well, right?
We do. You'll be in studio for those, yeah?
Yeah.
For Sunday home?
Noon and 4 p.m.
.17 Stanford lead. Lexi can't finish it. Thomas ends up with the board. Charisma Osborne just 5 points, 2 of 8 from the floor in this game. Mari Thomas just 3 points, 1 of 4 from the floor. Face-up jumper a little too strong there for Cameron Brown on an 8 to 10 minute limit. And that was deflected, so Lacey able to go back and get it. Belibi gets free and lays it in on another gorgeous over-the-top pass.
Stanford is so good at reading the overplay, and that time Fran Belibi did, and then cut back door and was able to corral it and finish. And it's really fun to watch Fran Belibi play basketball when she is as confident as she has been lately.
At wing 3, rims off for Onu. Stanford running. Wilson pushing pace. Now we'll settle it out. Lexi dumps it down. Brink gets free. More beautiful basketball from the defending champion Stanford Cardinal.
The last two possessions for Stanford, their bigs have run the floor initially. First it was Beliebe, this last possession it was Cameron Brink. And even if they don't get the ball right away, eventually they get rewarded. Bigs who run should be rewarded.
You used to scream that at your guards, right?
That's right. That's right.
Don't you know bigs who run should be rewarded?
And they're relentless, and it puts so much pressure on the defense too. The big defensively can't exhale and say, all right, I can take this, you know, possession a little bit lighter. There goes Brink, there goes Beliebe. I gotta run and work.
Osborne, that's a difficult shot with the lengthy Brink right in her grill. Quickly down the floor, Lacey unable to finish. But how many times have we seen that tonight? And Andrea's talked about it a lot. It's been a focus of Corey Close. Stanford just flat out beating UCLA down the floor.
And that's what's hard too, is you try to sprint back to the paint, but against Stanford, you can't just go to the paint. You gotta, again, get out to the three-point line. We've seen them hit some threes in transition as well.
UCLA doesn't have many bodies to throw at Stanford because of all their injuries and absences. Osborne, unable to hit, tilts out of bounds. Stanford basketball. Now, Corey Close, it was interesting, Rebecca, she was talking about the mentality right now as her team navigates this difficult time. And she said, I want to celebrate their growth without saying it's okay to just be close.
What else she say? She said, we have to be good in the wrestle.
Yes. And her point was she doesn't want her players who are playing more minutes than expected to say, oh, I'm getting so tired as Osborne hits that pull-up in transition, or, oh, you know, I'm not used to 30 minutes. She wants to say, yes, you can do this. Maybe you weren't before, but your body absolutely can do this. You just need your mind to say it first.
And now we've seen UCLA go into a zone, and you have to imagine that's because of some of the fatigue trying to switch things up, but it's really hard to stay in a zone against Stanford because of the way they can shoot the basketball.
Timeout on the floor. Well, UCLA certainly has a powerful legacy. We'll explore it next. Social justice was very big for this UCLA team last season.
Yeah, Ryan, absolutely. You know, last season, the initiative More Than a Dream was started by Michaela Onyenwere, Lauren Miller, Charisma Osborne, and Cameron Brown. They created it to share their experiences as black women, highlight black culture. It actually led to what they call Bruins Table Talk, which was conversations with notable UCLA alumni. They talked to Gabrielle Union, and Cameron Osborne and Charisma Osborne and Cameron Brown actually kept it going this season. They wanted to continue the legacy and keep the initiative because it was special to them.
But for more storytelling like this, stream Black History Always collection on ESPN+.
Female athletes, basketball players in particular, whether at the college level or in the WNBA, have done an incredible job using their voice for change, using their voice for social justice, and so important to highlight their stories.
UCLA still in that zone, which they've gotten some stops over the last couple of possessions. Here's Brink, one-on-one with Thomas, so the little hesitation, and Brink able to draw the foul.
Stanford continuing to do a really good job of not just settling for the threes. We saw it in the first half. Let's establish inside and then take the threes when we have it. Here in the third quarter, only attempted one three-point shot there, not letting the zone push them to the perimeter. Instead, going into Brink once again, where she has the advantage on Thomas.
Brink misses the first free throw.
Stanford only 68% from the free throw line this year. It's gotten a little bit better as the season has gone on, but typically good from the line, not so much this year.
Right, that and the turnovers, I think if you were going to look to two things that could end up being their undoing in a potential Final Four or championship game or Elite Eight or whatever it might be, I think those would be probably two of the things that you'd hone in on, Rebecca.
Yeah, without question. Two of the things that hurt in their loss to South Carolina earlier this season.
On the flip side, you know every team watching Stanford in that first half, the way they shot it from three, knows they can do that on any given night, and the way they move the ball, the way they score, is just dangerous. A rejection there from Dimitri. How about Lexi? Not that time on a three. Had been 4 of 5 from deep, but it's going to stay here. Loose ball foul going against UCLA.
I'm going to give the big a little bit of credit again because Cameron Brink ran the floor really hard, and because she did, the guard had to come in on her defensively. Stanford didn't make the three, but the shooter was open because of Brink's sprint.
Lexi, and that's going to be a foul against UCLA as Lacey went spilling to the floor. First foul on Horvat. Fourth foul on UCLA here in this third quarter. Pace has slowed down a bit in this third, but a 17-point Stanford cushion. Dimitri flashes, leaves it short. Onu the rebound, looking to push for UCLA. Osborne, 9 points on 4 of 12 shooting, and a foul goes against Stanford. That's going to be their 14th foul here in this third quarter.
For UCLA in the zone, maybe a little bit easier when they get back in defensive transition, because instead of trying to find a player or being worried if you get cross-matched, you can just go to an area. All right, I got to get back. This is my spot to defend. Been able to slow things down a little bit.
That three is short. Lexi able to scrape up the rebound for Stanford. Belibi, Anna Wilson, Lexi Hull, Jana Van Geitenbeek, and Cameron Brink, the 5 on the floor for Stanford. Wilson directing traffic. Belibi bounces to the cutter. Brink, she's fouled, and Brink will go back to the line, trying to atone for her last trip.
Yeah, that's an area of the floor that's open against his zone, is the free throw line area. And then when Belibi got the ball on the block, Cameron Brink did a nice job of diving.
Cameron Brink. Hits the first. And a much different looking trip to the line that time for Cameron Brink.
It's almost surprised when she does miss because it's a really pretty looking free throw.
Well, and Rebecca, that's even why, you talked about it a little bit in the open and we saw an attempt early, but why you could tell she's going to be a legitimate threat from three. The form, it just looks good.
Smooth. She's got a really smooth looking stroke.
I see you're getting in the alliteration game now as well. As Owens gets fouled and will go to the line.
Owens has done a nice job. Stanford has played off of her, almost dared her to shoot at times. She's seen her get offensive rebound. Here she attacks the basket. She has to still look for ways to be impactful, even if she's not comfortable with a 15-footer as the defense plays off of her.
Brink checking out. One of the things that Corey Close talked to us about was complimenting Kayla Owens on her fitness and her shape, Rebecca, because she did not play last year, sat out due to COVID concerns, and yet kept herself in tip-top shape so that she was ready to go this season, which Coach Close talked about. That takes a certain level of discipline when you're not playing basketball, when you're at home, to be able to do that.
Yeah, without question.
Double-double for Fran Beliebe, 14 points, 10 rebounds. The zone is slowed down, Stanford. They haven't gotten as many easy looks, but gotten to the line a bit, and UCLA has not been able to cash in on the offensive end.
Stanford has not seen much zone this season. Fewer than 10% of the possessions they've played against have been in a zone, and it certainly has slowed them here, Rod.
Osborne can't hit the three. Nice rebound, snared by Lexi Hull. Here's Wilson with haste up the floor. Lexi Hull also a double-double now. 14 points and 10 rebounds. 8th career double-double for Lexi Hull. Shot clock inside of 5, and Guyton connects on a deep three.
Get a couple of those. That's the way to get the defense out of a zone.
Stanford 9 for 20 from 3 now. Cho can't bank it in. Shot clock turned off. 3rd quarter winding to a close. Van Guyton, not that time. Underneath, the putback is good at the horn. Kiki Arifin able to finish. Start of the 4th quarter at UCLA. Ryan Rucco, the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo, Andrea Carter with you. Stanford a 24-point lead after 3 quarters. Stanford just 1-3 in that 3rd after they had 8 in the 1st half. They did not turn it over in the 3rd quarter.
Saw the start of this possession, Ryan. UCLA posting up Natalie Cho on being wet and beat because she has a size advantage, but Stanford's defense was able to swarm in. But nice patience by UCLA, not forcing it and instead finding the open look.
16 assists for Stanford on their 22 made field goals. That shot short, but Beliebe there to finish it after the miss from Iriafen.
She just gobbles up rebounds, Fran Beliebe. That one was out of her area, and she just went and got it.
16 points, 11 boards for Fran Beliebe. Foul going to go against, I believe, Anna Wilson. Here we talked about Tara Vanderveer earlier, talking about the unselfishness of her team. And one of the players she highlighted was Anna Wilson, who has shuffled from being a starter to going to the bench, to then back in the starting lineup, playing 40 minutes. The co-defensive player of the year in the Pac-12 a season ago. And Tara Vanderveer just marveled at her engagement on the bench when she wasn't starting, the way she supported her teammates, and how smoothly she transitioned back into larger minutes when called upon.
Teams with good chemistry have that. They have players who, when it's not their time to be on the floor, are cheering on the bench. And exactly, Wilson, in and out of the starting lineup their last game, one of their biggest games of the season against Arizona, she played all 40 minutes. That important to her team's success.
Out of bounds to Stanford.
You know, just to add on Anna Wilson and what she brings, when I was watching shoot around today, guys, she's so involved in everything that's going on. If she's not on the court in the action, she's on the sidelines talking to her teammates, telling them what she sees, what the call is. She is always just involved and engaged, and she goes hard. Whenever she is on the court, hard cuts, intentional dribbles, just a very focused, unselfish player in Anna Wilson.
One of those players who not only leads by example, but can lead vocally. And how do you not look to her? She's been through so much throughout the course of her career at Stanford. In her 6th season, wanted to stay and take advantage of that COVID year after helping lead her team to a national championship a year ago.
Dealt with bad concussion earlier in her career. Took a while to get back and get right, but has absolutely taken advantage in the second half of her collegiate career at Stanford. We'll see if she sends big brother Russell to Minneapolis this year after we saw him in San Antonio during the tournament last season. Lexi into the paint, turning, can't finish, Believe there again. How about Brink on the follow?
But that started with Fran Believe just pursuing the basketball. Wasn't able to finish her own putback, but just a great job by her continuing to attack the glass.
Stanford a +8 on the boards as that layup goes for Cameron Brown.
Just continue to attack the glass, and here, relentless pursuit, doesn't get it, but Cameron Brink, those long arms, loses her balance, still able to finish. I think she was looking for the and one there too, Rod.
12 points, 5 rebounds for Brink, has a couple of blocks as well, set a school record for blocks in a single season last year as a freshman. Believe me, wow, she's looked really good, Rebecca.
Yeah, and that was a great duck-in when the ball went to the middle of the floor, and I was wondering if they were going to start doing that and exploiting it here.
On the reverse, no. Believe running, Lacey pushing. Wilson surveying and pointing out she wants Brink to set up in the post. Now it's Lexi. Lacey will fire and hit from 3. It is all Stanford. The lead has mushroomed to 29. In the corner, Brink will try a 3 and hit. There it is, Rebecca. That stroke is golden.
Both of her threes this season have come from the deep right corner in consecutive games. Cameron Brink, what you got for us 2 games in a row?
Yeah, Ryan, I talked to Fran at shoot-around just about her confidence, and she told me she's been working a lot with Coach Tara on her face-up game and has a lot more confidence in that aspect of her offense. But she also told me that in general, facing Cameron Brink and Ashton Prechtel every day in practice has given her a lot more tools in her toolbox to use against various opponents.
You know, we've seen Fran Believe dunk here against UCLA. Remember this? December 13, 2020. Pow! December 21st, 2020. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's interesting to me too, Ryan, in talking about Andrea with Believe's confidence is last year she seemed to start off with incredible confidence. And then at some point she lost a beautiful pick and roll to Brink. So it's really a delight this year when you see a player regain that confidence and then start playing the way she's playing up to her potential. It's just really fun to watch young players get that confidence back and perform on the floor.
Rebecca, last year, her first 14 games, she averaged 11.6 points. The rest of the way, she was averaging under 5 points per game. I remember talking with Coach Vanderveer during the tournament and her saying the game is just fast for Fran right now. Well, it does not look fast any longer, and you're right. You so respect seeing a player go through those struggles, especially after having success, and show the resiliency to get back to that place.
Yeah, and again, she didn't play in their game against Tennessee and then came back and played great against South Carolina, and just see it growing in her since then.
Stanford very much a live team when it comes to the possibility of repeating as Belibi puts a bow on our broadcast segment. Well done, Fran. 20 points now for Fran Belibi.
And there it was, Andrea, the face-up game.
Timeout on the floor, Fran Belibi. She brings highlights in pregame, and oh yeah, she brings it during the game as well. A 20-point double-double for Fran. How about our stars of the month, Rebecca Aoka-Lee, 61 points, a Division I record. Anissa Morrow, 27 rebounds. And Caitlin Clark, I mean, an incredible January. Another triple-double tonight. She's averaging over 26 points, leading Division I. Tennessee-UConn Sunday, 25th all-time meeting. Both teams ranked in all 25 matchups. And Notre Dame defeating NC State, their first win against an AP Top 5 since 2019. A lot of interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, how about Caitlin Clark had an incredible January, and welcome to February, triple-double.
She is just having an incredible season. I feel like every other night, Kevin Durant's Instagram story is showing love to Caitlin Clark and whatever incredible stat line she's put up that night. Stanford has emptied the bench at this point, although as we've seen, everybody on their roster capable of contributing and often gets earlier minutes as Osborne hits the three and will become the first member of UCLA in double figures tonight.
Stanford's done a phenomenal job on the defensive end, and I know UCLA has injuries that it's dealing with, but it's still a team that averages 70 points per game, and Stanford has held them to 40 so far. Terrific game plan, just made things so difficult. UCLA only shooting 30% on the game.
Horvat, Osborne, both in double figures for UCLA. 10 for Horvat, 10, 12 for Osborne. Owens facing up. Alyssa Jerome dumping it in. UCLA able to control. Under 2:30 to go in this fourth quarter. How about Osborne pull up three, barely grazes the rim. Back into the arms of Stanford.
I think this is what it looks like, Ryan, when UCLA empties their bench too.
Yeah, there isn't much of a bench anymore. Good point. They've been playing with 7 or 8 or, if they're lucky, 9. Let's check in with Andrea Carter.
Well, one thing I've noticed, guys, is I've just been watching. Stanford is so locked in. All of the starters, when the second players and the reserves are in, when you look at their bench and you can see they're locked in, they're talking. You see teams and they're up by 33 points and they're laughing and they're joking and they're leaning back in their chairs. You don't see that with this Stanford team. They're leaning forward, elbows on their knees, really focused on trying to help this second unit have success on the floor.
That's what Tara Vanderveer was talking about with us earlier today, that unselfishness of this group. Hey, following our game at SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt, he'll have highlights and reaction from a busy Thursday in women's hoops with all top 4 in action. Plus, on the men's side, we'll take you inside the top 10 matchup between the Bruins and Wildcats, and in the NBA, the top 2 teams in the West, the Warriors and the Suns, trying to extend their winning streak. SportsCenter with SVP next, right here on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Ryan, I want to get back to Andrea's report about the Stanford bench. So interesting to me, last year when you and I covered the WNBA, Connecticut Sun, they keep an eye on their bench and how their bench celebrates the players on the floor, understanding how important that is to team chemistry, how important that is to a winning culture.
That 3 is good for Joe. Rebecca, I'm going to ask you something. It feels like a generic question, but I'm not sure I've ever asked it to you, and it feels appropriate just given the conversation. I mean, how critical is that? Is actually, regardless of your talent, is feeling like you're being rooted for, you're being supported by your teammates, regardless of who's getting what minutes?
It's absolutely critical, and you see it's one of the things that makes a championship team, because it's not just something you do in games, it's something you do every day in practice. You're there for one another, you encourage one another. Look at the bench now, everybody up, everybody clapping. And you know, when you're one of the players who's coming in off the bench, you're spending most of your game clapping for those starters, cheering for those starters, encouraging those starters. You sense and feel it when they are doing the same for you. I challenge you, Ryan, to find a really, really good team where that's not the case.
Kiki Ariafen, another player who was highlighted by Coach Vanderveer to us earlier today about, hey, when I throw Kiki in there, I feel comfortable as well. Number 19 recruit for this year's class. Speaking of the future, UCLA with a top 2 recruiting class for 2022, according to ESPNW. It is all cosmetic at this point. A 31-point Stanford lead. They'll stay here with the Cardinal. How about for UCLA, Rebecca? You know, Charlie Cream had them as the first team out when it comes to March Madness. With all their injuries, how difficult is a path in to the tournament going to be for the Bruins?
Well, the thing with UCLA is they're going to continue to compete. And we talked about losing their last game to Oregon State. That was competitive late. And they lost the previous game to Arizona. That was competitive late. So it is certainly going to be challenging, especially as you wonder from game to game who is healthy. But this is a UCLA team who will continue to go to work. And Corey Close said, we just have to figure out a way to march. And she said, I am determined to figure out a way to march.
To march, to march. Joe hits the 3. Stanford can dribble this out. It'll be a 9th straight victory for Stanford. Osborne misses. An impressive, dominant performance from a still unbeaten in the Pac-12 team. A Stanford Cardinal take down UCLA 76-48 the final. For our producer Kerry Callahan, our director Jocelyn Meyer, Andrea Carter, the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo, I'm Ryan Rucco. Time to send things out to SVP with SportsCenter.